Okay. So we're going to start by paraphrasing the poem. Okay. So what is a paraphrase?
Put in your own words.
Okay, you're putting it into your own words. Okay, so when you have a poem, line by line, to understand the meaning better, you want to rewrite each line in words that you can understand. Okay, so we're going to start with the first line. This is To My Dear and Loving Husband by Bradstreet. If ever two were one, then surely we. So if ever two people were connected as one, then that would be us. Okay, so you can rewrite that several ways. If two people were ever connected as one, that's us. Okay, so we're so in love that we are one person. We're acting as one person. Okay. If ever man were loved by wife, then thee. Any ideas?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. If there was ever a man that was loved by his wife, that's you. Okay, so this poem is about love. To my dear and loving husband, it's about how much love she has for her husband. Okay, so that's what the lines are going to be about. How much she loves him, how much they're in love together. Okay, so if there was a man who was loved by his wife, that's you. Okay, so two people were ever connected as one, that's us together in our relationship. If there was ever a man who was loved by his wife, that's you. Because I, your wife, love you. If ever wife was happy in a man. Okay, so if there was a wife who was happy with her husband, compare with me, ye or ye woman, if you can. So if there was a wife who is happy with her husband, compare her to me. Okay, because I'm happy with my husband. Okay, so if there is a woman that you looked at that was the happiest person in her relationship with her husband, compare that woman to me because we're the same. Okay, I prize thy love more than whole mines of gold. How would we paraphrase that? What'd you say? Say it. No?
He said love means more. Love means more than one.
Close. But if she's saying, I prize your love more than whole mines of gold, what is she saying?
That loves.
He prizes love more than money.
Okay, her love that she has for her husband means more to her than if she had a whole mine full of gold. Okay, material possessions, riches. Okay, so I value our love more than a mine full of gold. Or all the riches that the east doth hold. Okay, so I value our love more than a mine full of gold. Or all the money in the world. So she's saying, I love you so much that if someone were to ask me, would I trade you for all the money in the world, I'd say no. Because your love means more to me than that. Okay, my love is such that rivers cannot quench.
These things are. The word is meaning.
Basically what she's saying here is, if you took rivers and gave it to someone that
Was thirsty.
You're on it.
Yeah.
You're right there.
okay, my love is such that rivers cannot quench. It would still not be enough. Okay, so let's just say you're thirsty. Okay, you need some water. And someone gives you enough water that a river would, like the same amount that a river would have. Okay, what she's saying is, my love's more than that. Does that make sense? Sort of? Okay. So I would paraphrase this as all the water in a river couldn't quench my love. Quench? It's a weird word. Okay, nor aught but love from thee give recompense. Okay, what does that word mean? It was in your vocabulary yesterday.
Make amends.
Make amends to someone for loss or harm suffered.
Okay, or compensation. Okay, to compensate someone for something. So, in the footnote of the poem in your book, ought tells you that ought means anything. So, nor anything but love from you can compensate that same love from me. Okay? So, I don't expect anything in return for my love. accept love from you. Okay, the compensation that you can give me for loving you is to love me back in the same way. And then thy love is such I can no way repay. So I could never pay you back for your love. The heavens reward thee manifold, I pray. Okay, so I could never pay you back for your love, so I pray that God rewards you for how much you've loved me. Everybody good so far? Okay, last two lines. Then while we live in love, let's so persevere. What do you think? While we live, while we're alive, what should we do? What is she saying they should do?
Keep it going.
Okay, keep their love alive. Persevere means to keep going, to push through. Okay, so while we're alive, let's keep our love going. Okay, and then the last line, that when we live no more, we may live ever. So, first part of the line, when we live no more, what does that mean? When we die, okay? So that when we die, okay, we may live ever or forever. Why are they going to live forever? What is she saying? Are they going to live forever? Is something else going to live forever? Their love or their legacy of their love. Okay? So while we are alive, let's keep our love going so that when we die, our legacy of love lasts forever. Okay, so breaking this poem apart line by line helps you understand it better. So we're going to read it again in our paraphrased version. If two people were ever connected as one, that's us. If there is a man who was loved by his wife, that's you. If there was a wife happy with her husband, compare her to me. I value our love more than a mine full of gold or all the money in the world. All the water in a river couldn't quench my love. I don't expect anything in return for my love except love from you. I could never pay you back for your love, so I pray that God rewards you. While we are alive, let's keep our love going so that when we die, our legacy of love lasts forever. Okay, so this is a love poem that she's writing to her husband. Okay, so now we're going to talk about, now that we know what it says, what it means, we want to talk about the literary devices that she uses. Okay, so the first one, if you scroll down on your document, is hyperbole. What is a hyperbole? What, Tony?
Exaggeration.
It's an extreme exaggeration. Okay? So, is there anywhere in the poem, any lines in the poem that you think are exaggerated? Okay, so this line,
Yeah.
my love is such that rivers cannot quench. Anything else?
Two of them.
The two above it. Okay, I prize your love more than whole mines of gold, or all the riches in the world. Okay, so we all know if we're being realistic and we're not writing a romantic poem for our husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend, that, I mean, what do y'all think about the realistic aspect of love? Do you think that you can love someone this much? More than all the money in the world? Someone were to offer you all the money in the world, would you turn it down over that person that you love? No? Okay, so these are exaggerations, but she's writing a romantic love poem for her husband. So it's sort of okay that she does it that way. But they are exaggerated. Now, what's the next one?
We have to write those down.
Yes, you do. You can copy and paste the lines underneath. You will have to explain why it's an exaggeration as well on your document, but we just talked about that, why it's an exaggeration. You can't possibly love, I mean, maybe you could. It is sort of subjective as to how you react to it as a reader. You know, do you think that you can love someone more than all the money in the world? Okay. Is illusion after that? Okay. So illusion is a reference in the text to another work of literature, or it could be a reference to a movie, a song, really any other work of art. Okay, so I'm going to tell you which line is an illusion and where it comes from. Okay, so this line here, my love is such that rivers cannot quench, is an illusion from the Bible. Okay, it comes from Song of Solomon. I don't know if that's how you spell it. I'll check my spelling on that. Yes, that's right. Okay, so it comes from the book Song of Solomon. Have any of y'all read that? Or familiar with that at all? It is a book in the Bible that reflects on love and relationships. Okay, so in this book, I don't know which verse and chapter it is, but he's talking about his wife or this woman that he loves, and he also mentions that rivers cannot quench his love for his wife. Okay, so this is a reference to Song of Solomon in the Bible. It's an allusion. Okay, and then the last one that you have, thought I had a purple. Okay, is inverted syntax. Okay, inverted syntax is when writers flip the pattern of a sentence. You know, the pattern of sentences that we write in, we would have the subject first and the verb last. So sometimes, especially in poetry, writers will flip that so that their lines will rhyme with each other. So if you notice, these lines rhyme in couplets. So you have, if you wanted to label the rhyme scheme, it would be A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D. Wait. No. Wrong. Okay, AB, CC. No, totally wrong. AA, BB, CC, D, E, F. So by couplet, I mean you have two lines that are one after the other and they rhyme. Okay, so we and thee, man can, gold hold, okay, and it follows that pattern throughout the poem. So in order to make these last two lines rhyme, she has to use inverted syntax. Okay, instead of saying, notice how the verbs are at the end. Like if you wanted to say that naturally, you could say, keep our love going while we're alive. Let's keep our love going while we're alive. And the last line, so that we'll live forever after we die. Okay, instead of reverse. So she flips those. So these last two lines are inverted syntax. And it sounds unnatural when you have an example that's inverted syntax. It sounds like you're struggling to say it that way. Okay, questions about this poem? Okay, the last thing that you have to do is answer the question at the bottom. What relationship do the lines suggest between earthly love and eternal love? Okay, and I'm referring to these last two lines in the poem. What do they suggest about the difference or similarities between love that you have on earth and love that you have after you die? Okay, so when she's in the last line, and I didn't talk about this before, but she's also saying that their love carries on to heaven when they go to heaven. Remember that she's very religious. She's a Puritan. So she believes that when they die, they're going to go to heaven together, or eventually be together in heaven. So she's saying, our love is so strong, let's keep it alive while we're here, so that when we die, we get to spend eternity together. Our love doesn't die because we loved each other so much during our lifetime that when we die and go to heaven, we'll still be together. And it will be eternal. So, what is the relationship between those two things to her? If she thinks that their love is great enough in life, then she believes that when they die and go to heaven, that it will still last. It doesn't end there because they love each other so much. Y'all got that? You good? Okay, any questions? No questions?